It was a sweltering summer afternoon in downtown Chicago. The sun was relentless, bouncing off the glass buildings and scorching the pavement. People hurried along the streets, fanning themselves with whatever they could find while the hum of traffic filled the air. Among the crowd, a young black girl, about 16 years old, walked briskly with her head slightly down. She wore a thick black coat that seemed entirely out of place in the intense heat. Sweat trickled down her forehead, soaking the collar of her coat. Yet she didn't slow down. From a distance, Marcus Sterling, a billionaire known for his high-end tech companies and philanthropic efforts, noticed her. He was leaving his office building, dressed in a crisp suit, sunglasses shielding his eyes from the glaring sun. Something about the girl caught his attention. It wasn't just her attire. It was the way she carried herself, hurried, anxious, and yet determined. As Marcus approached, he instinctively decided to check if she was okay. "Hey, young lady," he called out, walking toward her. She glanced up briefly, her eyes wide but wary. "Are you all right? It's really hot out, and you're wearing that coat. Are you feeling okay?" The girl hesitated. She seemed startled, not used to strangers approaching her, especially someone who looked as polished and well-off as Marcus. I'm fine," she stammered, pulling her coat tighter around herself as if it offered some sort of invisible shield. Marcus noticed the beads of sweat on her brow and the way the coat clung to her small frame. Concern etched across his face. "No, really. You shouldn't be wearing that in this heat. Can I at least help you? Maybe get you some water?" She paused, her eyes darting around nervously. After a moment, she nodded slightly, her hands fumbling with the zipper of her coat. They walked together to a nearby cafe, where Marcus bought a bottle of cold water and handed it to her. As she drank, Marcus studied her quietly. She was quiet, polite, but there was a heaviness about her, as if she carried more than just the physical weight of her coat. He wanted to ask, but he didn't want to push her. Instead, he said, "You know, it's not safe to overheat like this. You could get sick." The girl looked down at her hands, gripping the bottle tightly. Her voice barely above a whisper, she said, I just can't take it off." Marcus felt a pang of curiosity and concern. He didn't press, but he made a mental note. Something was clearly going on beneath that heavy exterior, and in that moment he decided he wouldn't just walk away. Whatever she was hiding, he felt compelled to understand, and maybe help. Little did either of them know, this chance encounter would unravel a story far deeper than a simple coat on a hot day. It was the beginning of an unlikely connection that would change both of their lives forever. After the brief pause at the cafe, Marcus Sterling couldn't shake the image of the girl in the black coat. There was something more to her than the obvious discomfort. He decided he couldn't just leave it at a polite gesture of buying water. "Listen," he said gently, "I'm not trying to pry, but if you're hiding something, maybe I can help." The girl flinched slightly at his words but didn't turn away. Her hands clutched the zipper of the coat as though it were a lifeline. I can't take it off," she murmured again, her voice trembling. Marcus nodded. "All right. No pressure. But maybe you can tell me why you're wearing it. We can figure it out together." For a long moment, silence hung between them, only broken by the low hum of the cafe and the occasional clatter of dishes. Finally, she exhaled sharply and met his eyes. It's complicated," she said. People, they notice. They judge. I don't want them to see." Marcus leaned forward slightly, encouraging her to continue without pushing. "You won't get judged here," he said sincerely. "I promise." The girl's gaze dropped to the floor again, and then she began slowly peeling back the layers of her story. "I'm hiding burns, scars," she admitted, her voice barely audible. "I was in a fire a few years ago. My parents, they didn't survive. And ever since, I can't go out without covering up. People stare, whisper. It's like they see me as broken." Marcus felt a pang of empathy. He had lived a life of wealth and influence, but he had never truly understood pain like this. Not the kind that left visible reminders of trauma etched on someone's skin. "You've been carrying this weight alone for a long time," he said softly. No one should have to. Especially someone like you, strong, brave, surviving all that. You're remarkable. The girl's eyes widened, a mixture of surprise and disbelief. I don't feel remarkable, she whispered. Marcus shook his head. Well, I see it. And maybe it's time someone else did, too. You don't have to hide anymore. She hesitated, but finally, in a small act of courage, she loosened the coat's zipper and let it fall open slightly. The scars were visible, pink and jagged in some places, faded in others, but they didn't define her. Marcus looked at her with nothing but admiration and respect. You've survived something most people can't even imagine, he said. And you're standing here today. That's strength, not shame. The girl blinked back tears, both from relief and fear. For the first time in years, she felt seen, not as the scars, not as the tragedy, but as herself. Marcus smiled gently. How about we get out of this heat, and maybe I can help you feel a little more comfortable? Not just today, but in life? The girl nodded slowly, a tentative smile appearing on her lips. She realized that sometimes trust could arrive in unexpected ways. From someone who had the means and the heart to see past appearances. That moment marked the start of an unlikely bond, one that would change the course of her life in ways she couldn't yet imagine. Over the next few days, Marcus couldn't get the girl out of his mind. He learned her name was Aaliyah, and that she lived alone, working part-time at a small diner to support herself while attending school. Despite her tragic past, there was a spark in her, resilience, intelligence, and an unspoken creativity. Marcus, moved by her courage and the visible scars she bore, decided he had to do more than just offer kind words. One afternoon, he arranged to meet her at the diner. She arrived, nervous but curious, wearing a lighter jacket this time. Marcus greeted her warmly. Aaliyah, you don't have to hide anything from me, he said, gesturing toward a quiet booth. I want to help if you'll let me. She fidgeted with her sleeves, looking down, but nodded. I don't know if I'm ready, she admitted. That's okay, Marcus replied. We'll take it slow, one step at a time. He began by helping her get medical attention for her scars. Through connections, he arranged consultations with top dermatologists and therapists specializing in trauma recovery. Aaliyah was hesitant at first, but gradually she began attending appointments, learning to care for herself in ways she had never allowed. But Marcus didn't stop there. He noticed that Aaliyah had a talent for art. During a casual conversation, she revealed sketches she had kept hidden in a worn notebook, drawings of cityscapes, people, and abstract patterns. I never showed anyone, she said shyly. I didn't think anyone would care, Marcus smiled. I care, and so will the world. Using his influence, he connected her with local art galleries and mentors who encouraged young artists. Soon, Aaliyah's work was displayed publicly, earning admiration and praise. Each exhibition became a step toward reclaiming her confidence, helping her see that she was not defined by her scars, but by her resilience and talent. One evening, after her first successful exhibition, Marcus and Aaliyah stood on the rooftop of his office building, looking over the city. The skyline glimmered with the lights of Chicago at night reflecting in her eyes. You know, Marcus said softly, I didn't just stop you on the street because I noticed your coat. I stopped because I saw you, and what I saw was someone who deserved a chance to be seen, not hidden. Aaliyah smiled, tears glistening. I never thought anyone would notice me. Really notice me, she admitted. Marcus placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. Sometimes it just takes one person to start seeing the truth about someone. And in your case, the truth is incredible. For Aaliyah, that day marked a turning point. The heavy coat, once a shield, was no longer a necessity. She had found not only healing, but a mentor, a supporter, and a friend who believed in her potential. And for Marcus, it was a reminder that acts of compassion, simple moments of noticing someone in need, could change lives in ways money alone never could. In the end, a scorching summer day, a black coat, and a billionaire's attention sparked a journey of courage. healing, and unexpected connection, proving that sometimes seeing someone truly is the greatest gift of all.